So today we have this interesting biochemistry reactor. It is kind of big, so it doesn't really fit on my desk. So I'm gonna try and take it apart and let's see if we can see most of it flat. I will start by taking off the top cover. All right. Isn't this interesting here? Well, it looks at least something important may have been removed. I see this is going into nowhere on the other end. Let me get rid of these two tubes right here. So there's two massive motors. So these are probably pumps. This one is labeled A1H2O. This one is labeled 2BACN. This is some kind of a valve. It doesn't look like there's any circuitry or anything in here. Looks like things are controlled from external connectors. Let's see if we can get further in. So these are little capillary tubes, or capillary tubes. DF series DJ instruments. These little units here have fans sitting underneath them. So I guess let's try and take some of this further apart. And this is going straight to the back, to the connector labeled injection splitter control mixer control. Purge and injection. All right. This unit is mostly free. Let's explore it further. Let's first disconnect it from here. And so one of the connectors goes to that circuit board over there. And then there's a couple that are going right here. So that's this wire here. And after that, we have one more wire that goes right here. Oh, and we're powering the fans from right here. So this is Vici model number EHMA-MS. And these are some kind of selector valves, or I'm not quite sure. auto injector, splitter. This also has the diagnostic LEDs. So we have main power, pump 1, pump 2, injector, splitter, mixer, column heater, and air pump. I don't think I see the air pump in here. Yeah. Oh, this comes out nicely. So this is the valve, and then that is probably just a stepper. So this has a couple of connectors and some wires and diagnostic LEDs. I think the fan was hooked up to the one called mixer. Oh, okay. So the mixer one is getting the power from right here. I think those are just the fans for the mixers, unless there's something. Oh, haha, there are magnets glued on to the top of the fans. Okay, that's going to be interesting once I get to that. So yeah, this is just some simple green LEDs. I don't think I'm even going to take it apart any further. There's nothing more interesting to see on this thing here. So here's the first interesting bit of equipment. If you take a look at these fans, they have magnets glued onto the top of them. Let me see if I can power it up. I think let's give it about 12 volts. I guess 12 volts is not enough. One of them spinning, the other one isn't. Oh, never mind. There's a switch. Oh, there you go. They're both going now. So these modules probably have something in them that's going to stir up wherever's... Oh, this is actually vibrating quite a bit. So yeah, these are mixers, all right. Now we have some weird smell emanating from this thing. Hopefully it's nothing dangerous. This one was labeled to attach the pump labeled H2O, so I think it's going to be safer to take apart if it comes apart. Alright, so we have this thing here. I should probably bolt it back up and try to undo the top, because I don't think anything else in it comes apart. The paint around the screw is corroded quite a bit. Okay, let's see if this is going to come willingly. Yes. Okay. And we have, let's see, should I flip it over? I think I'm just going to flip it over. Okay. All right, so we have a teeny tiny little stir bar. That has a glass bead on each side. And one of them actually fell out. So this little carrier right here, then it had a glass bead on the bottom, and then there's another glass bead on the top right here. And then this would go in there. Oops. Glass bead goes missing. Oh, there it is. I'm just going to drop it back in there. There you go. Then we have this little thing here, which has some kind of a sintered metal membrane that was holding up the top of it, and then that was just pressed down by this. So let's put it back together for now. I don't know if I'm ever going to use this for anything, but you know, I'll keep it together for now. I'll see. All right, then we have some kind of a sensor right here. DJ Instruments DF series 0 adjust. It's probably some kind of a flow meter. And then this looks like some kind of a either some kind of a sintered metal filter or check valve. I can hear something in there. It must be a check valve. Oh no, never mind. That's this thing right here. So this is the sensor here, model DF-SS-01-10000-05. This looks like it has a hole just all the way straight through. I don't know if it's going to be visible on the camera. So it's probably some kind of a flow meter. Well, and I guess let's take the cutest part of this bit of equipment. Oh, there's actually two of them. Which is a little valve. I'm gonna try and undo it from this block right here. I don't think it wants to come willingly, so I will just snip it off. So, looks like there's a ceramic insert and then a plastic one. And it's all open in this position. I don't know if it's going to be visible. Yeah, and then here that ceramic insert closes it off. So it's a T-valve right now, it's all open. If I'm going to rotate it this way, it's going to be connecting these two. If I'm going to rotate it this way, it's going to be connecting these two, and so on. This way it's all open. Oh, there's actually a little pictogram showing how the internal ceramic pieces arranged. Oh, that's a little bubbler. Two little bubblers. Didn't even realize that. I thought it was just a connection block. That's nice. Does this screw in or is it glued in? I think it's probably... I don't see any evidence of glue, but then it doesn't really come out, so... Oh yeah, it is glued in. Good thing I didn't force it. Yeah, that's actually quite usable. That's not bad. I like this little part. I think the pumps are bolted up from underneath. So let's get on to... I guess I'm going to unbolt everything else, and then I'm going to try and unbolt the bottom plate. Alright, there's this interesting part called Valco. And then this little tube is actually sealed off. So let's see. Is it just a junction or does it have any function? I have no clue. Oh, that is bolted down tight. Looks like there's a tiny little capillary in the middle there. And let me unbolt this, see what it looks like in that. Oh no, that's not gonna go, is it? There's not even a crevice I can stick it into to give me some leverage. Oh, there you go. Yeah, so that looks like another capillary opening in there. So there's just a tiny little dot in there. And then this thing appears to be all completely sealed up. So this doesn't come apart any further. I'll try to find out what it is, maybe for a next video or something. I don't know. Yeah, I guess we should try taking one of these apart. Maybe the other one. Well, just let me take the rest of this apart first. Well, it looks like there's some reaction materials still on the bottom of these pumps. You know, if I had to guess, I think this is a pressure accumulator. given that it's bolted shut with so many big bolts, and then this looks like a release valve of some kind. And there was only one line connected here that went nowhere, but you know, some parts probably got taken out of this. But yeah, I don't know. It's probably not a good idea to unbolt this unless it's being held down by something, because there's probably a massive spring in the piston on the inside, if I had to guess. So let's figure out if I can wipe this down with something before I proceed any further. I think this is actually probably just oil. It smells oily. So the motor, Clifton Precision, made in the USA. DC0115. Does that mean 115 volts? I'm not sure about that. So this probably just pumps back and forth. Yeah, this one says 1AH2O. I don't know if I'm going to have any use for it as a pump. I do have other similar pumps as well, with some even bigger motors and ultra high pressure stuff. I may end up using the motor. It's a nice servo motor. Well, we'll see. I don't know if I'm going to take this any further apart. Let me move on to something more interesting out of this. And actually, there is a little bit of circuitry on this unit. There's a couple of chips back here. So I'm going to undo this and I'm going to take a look at the chip. These appear to be identical. This is AMD AM26LS31PC 9714 CEAT. It's in a signal chain from the servo position sensor to the connector on the back. So I'm pretty sure it's like a level shifter or something like that. All right, let's move on to the interesting part right here, which is this Vici Balco Instruments. And here's this valve head. There's quite some pressure on this. So there's a few capillaries, and then, oh, the valve only has 2 positions. Focus. I wonder how this comes apart. Because there is a... Oh. No. Is it? This does not appear to move. Let's see if this comes out. This does. So this little wafer is pressed up against that with quite a bit of pressure. Oh, and there's a little dump right there that comes out right here. But I guess it was still leaking out the side. Let's try to compress that spring. Well, actually, that's not going to do anything. Yeah, it's interesting how this is held together, because I see those splines right here. Yeah, it doesn't look like either of the splines can come out anywhere. So that is kind of weird. Almost looks like this internal part should go down and out. There's probably a ton of spring pressure on that, is what I'm guessing. So what I'm guessing that would have to happen to take this apart is something would have to press on this, push it up enough to where this spline can be removed, and then this would have to go down to allow this to pop out for this one to be removed. That's a tricky little setup here. All right, let's put this back together, and let's take apart the more interesting bit. This adapter looks pretty interesting. And this is probably some kind of a standard servo for these things. This square looks similar to like the standard square on different ball valves and stuff on industrial cooling systems. It's just a smaller size. Yeah. All it is a stepper motor. So I guess nothing interesting here. Is there? Oh, there's probably a reduction gear of some kind, right? Let's get this in here and see how much effort it takes to turn it. Actually, no. That's just the stepper motor. right. All right. I guess I'll keep this in one piece for right now. See if I run into somebody who needs one of those or has a little project they could do with it or something. I don't know. Let's see, is there anything else that's interesting that we can take apart? Actually, I could probably try running this motor. It's a bit risky given that there's probably remnants of some unknown fluids that could be quite corrosive still stuck in there. I think I'm going to try it anyway though. Doesn't want to pop out. I think I'll just try to probe something into it. It's pretty thick. Do I have anything handy? No. I'll just snip the wire. Well, actually, there are connectors right here. So we have negative on top, positive on the bottom. All right. Let's try and give it about 12 volts. Oh, it bottomed out. Okay. Let's try and give it the reverse. Hopefully nothing squirts out. There you go. And let's give it the reverse again. Yeah, it works. That's a nice, that's a huge little motor. Yeah, that could be useful on its own, or maybe we'll figure out, yeah, of course. I tested the pump that had ACN in it rather than water. But anyway, so yeah, this was the Ultra Plus 2MD capillary pump module from Microtech Scientific Inc. And yeah, last inventoried on 11/2006. So this thing's been out of commission for quite a bit. I guess it was purchased by a surplus auction in 2018, and I think I bought it. When did I buy it? Probably over a year ago. Anyway, that's it for now. See you all next time. So let's take this further apart anyway. It's unlikely that I'm going to have a use for it as a pump. Plus I have two of them. I'll keep one and then I will take one completely apart. So, well, oh goodness, I'm about to break this, am I? Let's undo this first. It's got a tiny ceramic little piston in that pump. These bolts are quite seriously torqued. So here's the pump unit. And here's what we have here. We have a thin, oof. Takes a lot of force to move it, but we have a thin ceramic piston. That goes in and out of this pump. Well, that popped all the way out. Okay. Oh, so it's a plastic seal that's compressed by this thing here. And then the piston goes in there. Okay. So let's reassemble this. I guess let's try and not break it, but yeah, it takes a lot of force to squeeze this piston in there. No wonder they need such a huge motor for this. Well, actually, now that I moved it back and forth a few times, it moves a bit easier. So I guess it was just settled in there, or I've just messed up the seal. Yeah, the first few times it needed a ridiculous amount of force. Right now it seems to be going in and out all right. I probably chafed the seal when I plugged it back in. Anyway. Yeah. That's just the valves in there. Okay, let's keep taking this apart. Let's see. Oh, there you go. Okay. I think that's a useful little module. And then we have this, which has a pretty good little bearing in here, which I also think is going to be pretty useful. You know, this looks like a little lathe or something. Maybe that's what I'm going to do with it. And then we have this. And this. Oof. This is pretty rough. Oh, it's a little ball bearing unit with linear ball bearings. If you see those little balls on the inside there. I don't know if they're going to make it onto camera. Feels rough, but I guess that's from the balls rolling around. You know, this could be used as a servo for some project. It doesn't have much movement, but it has some. I guess that could be useful. Yeah, there's not much movement at all, especially with that screw interfering with the bottom. But anyway, that's what we've got. I think that is it for today. See you all later.